She is the gorgeous multi-millionaire founder of the lingerie empire, Ultima.
Lingerie. Fool.
I was just being... That'll be printed as fake news now.
Eamonn Holmes embarrasses himself
with
on
lingerie.
national television with lingerie.
Ultimo. Do you still do Ultimo anymore?
No, I sold the company about 4 years ago.
All right. See, it's Michelle Mone here, but...
Do you not remember when I gave you some money?
I thought it was when you gave me some underwear, and then I thought, don't tell her. But anyway, despite her work ethic, Baroness Michelle Mone has recently been nicknamed in the press as Lady Layabout, and also by parliamentary peers. Now, this criticism comes after claims that Michelle has not properly fulfilled her role in the House of Lords, and we'll just go to the record here about all of this. Michelle, so they're saying 89 sittings out of 457. I put it to you, it does not look good.
No, it's not true, though. The facts are not true. And it all started off with a freelance Scottish journalist, and it's just filtered its way down south, and it's really not true.
But it's less than
I
1 in 4.
attended last year
why is it not true?
over 150 times.
So 89 should be 150?
Yeah, I mean, you've got your votes and then you've got your days that you go into the House of Lords, and you don't get registered unless you go into the chamber. So not every time I go there, I go into the chamber.
So if you're there, what would you be doing? You're there doing what, meetings and other things?
Meetings and lots of debates and lots of charity meetings and everything else. So,
but even if it was 150, that would only be 1 in 3.
Yeah, I mean, when I became a full-time Baroness, I did say to David Cameron that I'm a full-time entrepreneur, a full-time business person, and I will juggle and I will be there as often as I can be. I'm there for life. You know, I was the youngest to go in there in the first place. A lot of them are really hard-working, but they're retired and that's their job, full-time. That's not my job.
What about your
there are not many like you in the
others?
House, it has to be said.
If you compare my records with other business people, entrepreneurs that do the same job as me, I'm probably right up there, the top 5. Whereas sometimes they're not even there for votes. I was there for 91 votes last year, and I very, very rarely miss a 2-line whip or a 3-line whip. So I could go there at, 3:30 every day, not on a Friday, and be there till like 1 in the morning.
Well, look,
so,
OK, right,
yeah.
I hear what you're saying, and I understand that. So is there jealousy towards you? Do you feel that you're not wanted there, for instance?
No, not at all. I am really friendly with just about everyone in there. But I suppose, when you're a woman, when you're younger, and when you've been in the press for over 20 years, I suppose I am a target. But, I'm not sitting here...
As you're a woman, do you think that you've been targeted because of that?
I kind of do, but it doesn't bother me. As long as my family and my friends know exactly what I'm all about. And my goodness, I wake up so early in the morning and I do a full day's work and then I go there. And I could be there till like 2 in the morning voting. That's sometimes what happens, but I'm not sitting here moaning. I'm just saying, compare me to others.
Well, I think a lot of people may say that they don't doubt that you work hard, but they may doubt that you work hard for the nation, and you would refute that.
Yeah, absolutely. I work extremely hard. I did a government review, and that took up 52 days of my time. And that's why I'm here to talk to you guys this morning. It's about my new app that came from the government review, that came from my speaking around the world, that this app called Connect to Michelle Mone that you can download on the App Store is an app that will mentor people and make them the ultimate
But even that,
you.
Michelle, will not people be saying, but that benefits you? That's about you and not you being a baroness and being in the House of Lords and representing the nation.
No,
they still might think, well, that's a business thing for you.
No, it's actually not. It's for me to give back to others. It's an app that will make people, whether they're in a job at the moment and they want to get up the ladder and they're looking for some tips, they're looking for some confidence,
like
whether they want to start, they want to start a business, or they've already got a business and they're stuck in a rut. It's an app that will help everyone from lifestyle to find the balance in your life, work-life balance, to health, to fitness, and it's an all-round. But it won't just be me giving expert advice. It will be others that will be coming on into the app and giving everyone.
See, I can understand how
advice.
like-minded people would really go for that. And talking about like-minded people, congratulations on your engagement. You're to be betrothed.
Oh, thank you.
Well done.
And you've
That
met
happened
Doug
to-
as
I'm
well.
going to tell you about Doug. It's very, very interesting because when I say like-minded people, Doug, I met Doug. I spent the day with him at his home in the Isle of Man for a programme I was doing about billionaires. And I can totally see how you guys, with the same motivation and the same fortune that is going your way, would click, obviously. I mean, you get all of that. But do you think, Michelle, that your life, I mean, particularly the fact you don't live in Scotland anymore and whatever, getting this Baroness award, that there's a lot of jealousy towards you?
There might
and
be.
your success?
There might be, but, you know, I'm just... If you go right back to when I grew up, I'm just, you know, a normal girl from Glasgow.
Yes.
Who came from not a lot, who, you know, I was brought up in the East End as well.
Yeah, but I get
and I've
that.
just made something
but a
of
lot
my
of
life,
people
you know,
like
by
you
working
to do
hard.
well, but not too well. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't really bother me if you get lots of jealous people out there, you get lots of incredible people out there. For me, I'm not a jealous person. I want everyone to be the best that they can be. And I think jealousy is an illness, and it's a horrible...
See, the thing about the Lords will be coming down with people probably much richer than you, but they don't have your profile. It's the profile. You're seen to be having it all, living the life, travelling around the world, and you seem to be genuinely very happy and in a very good place.
Oh, I'm very, very happy. I would say that, you know, after my divorce, it was the kind of worst time in my life, as I'm sure that some of your viewers out there have gone through or are going through. And you just don't know what to do. But I think you've just got to dig deep, and you've got to really try your best to turn your life around. And, you know, I'm just a human being like everyone else. Every day is a school day, and every day you learn. And, you know, I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. I just do my best every day and try my best and give back as well, you know, and juggling. If you look at working during the day and doing the House of Lords, it's a good 18-hour day, and it's
And do you go
exhausting.
every day? I mean, how much obligation do you have? You know, when you're given this appointment, it was David Cameron who appointed you.
Yeah.
And you said you raised your concerns at the time. It's like, I don't know if I've got enough time to devote to this. Are you obligated to be there for however many days a year? Do you get paid to be there?
Right, so basically your head whip asks you to not miss these votes, not miss these days. And it's very, very rarely that I miss them. And you do get an allowance, which is £305 per day. And I give 100% of that to charity. And, you know, if you're a lord or a baroness in there and you've got rent to pay and everything else, you know, the time you pay your rent for these lords and baronesses who work extremely hard, there's not a lot left because you don't sit every day. So I do give it away.
Why don't you give? Would you consider giving it up?
Would I? No, I not at all. Because in years to come, when I do retire as a full-time entrepreneur, I will become a full-time baroness.
Oh, yes.
Now, so at the moment, I'm doing night shift. You know, I'm doing during the day and I'm doing it at night.
As a full-time entrepreneur, and your mate David Cameron, and I mean, you represented the Conservatives very well in Scotland, and he said, "Well done, Michelle," and I'll give you a seat in the House of Lords for that, which results in a lot of people in Scotland not liking you, of course. What about Mr. Cameron and Brexit? Do you blame him for the situation we're in at the moment?
In my belief, you vote for your MP because you trust them to do a good job, and you vote, you know, and your Prime Minister to do a good job as well. I personally don't think he should have offered the public the vote. But we are where we are. The majority of people have voted and have spoken, and we need to get the best deal for our country, and we need to get on with it.
Did you tell him you didn't think he should have taken this to the country?
No, I didn't. But well, he knows now if he's tuning in. But we are where we are now. We can't go over spilt milk. We've got to move on. We've got to get the best deal for our country.
So people who are calling for a second referendum, what would you say to that?
I would say that, you know, everyone has their own opinion and we won't all agree. But when you have a vote and you get results, you need to move on. You can't keep having another vote to get the vote that you want.
Would you leave with no deal?
If it is going to be bad for the UK, yeah, I would. Absolutely. You've got to treat it like a business situation. There's no point in negotiating with someone who doesn't want to negotiate. And there's no point in doing a deal with someone when they don't want to do a deal. So, yeah, I would be.
So you wouldn't? Do you think with Theresa May, the Prime Minister, going back? Do you say don't bother going back because they're not going to give you what you want?
I think there becomes a time where if you don't get a deal and you're trying, then, yeah, walk away. Because what's the point in signing up to something that's going to be bad for all of our future, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren? There's no point.
And do you believe with no deal that this country can survive that? There will be difficult times, but ultimately we would get through it in terms of business and the economy?
Yeah, I think you would get through it. And I think that the EU would then want to do a deal. I think it's just all about your negotiation skills. But I think Theresa May is doing a really good job. Maybe she wasn't as strong at the very start, but I think now she's a tough cookie.
Would you ever like that job?
Never, ever. For all the tea in China, I would never want to be the Prime Minister. I think it's a very difficult job and
lonely place, probably.
Very, very lonely place where, even your team around you, you're kind of thinking, what's coming next?
Baroness Mone, thank you very much indeed. Very interesting to hear you speak. And as you say, if people want to have that confidence that you have or those lines that you have, you think your app will help them do that?
Yeah, I think Connect to Michelle Mone will be helpful if you're wanting to have that little bit of mentoring in your life. And so watch it grow, and maybe we'll have events in the future, bringing lots of experts together and giving something back. And that's what I've always wanted to do, is help as many entrepreneurs, help as many women and men as much as you possibly can.
Michelle, lovely talking to you. Thank you.
Good luck with your show. I'll be tuning in.
Yes, thank you very much.
That's
Sunday.
Good.
Yeah, this Sunday. You can sit in your pyjamas.
Not this Sunday.
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday. I'll be lying in bed with Doug and we'll tune in and watch
We'll think
a bit too much detail there. But anyway, lucky old Doug says hi.
Exactly.
Anyway, very good. Now, Doug has the amazing thing. I mean, having filmed Doug and being in his home, and he's really rigorous about his diet. And the reason he can be, and this is why if you're a millionaire, billionaire, you can do this, he has the one thing I would love in my life, a chef, a personal chef.
Well, you have to say good morning to Mark then.
That's
He'll be tuning in.
Mark, brilliant, because I had lunch with...
What am I then, Scotch mist?
No,
I don't really notice you doing any cooking at home. So the only other person is me then.
I just said, wouldn't it be brilliant to have a chef? That's all I said. Wouldn't it be wonderful?
Yeah.
If I could wave a magic wand, see, that's living the life.
I burn ice. I remember doing MasterChef, Celebrity MasterChef, years ago, and it was the most awful experience in my whole life. And I was so bad. I even put fish in cold batter. Cold oil.
Yeah, that's not good.
It was really bad.
That's not good.
Stick to braziers.
That's still to come.